Okay, so day 3, I woke up and I went on a bit of a little walk around the area, and I saw quite a few little interesting things. Like this one is somebody had a Buddha offering in their backyard, and I made my way all the way over to the financial district where I found that park that we'd walked through on the way back from the peak tram, and I actually ended up doing Tai Chi with an old lady. I walked up to her, asked her, I was like, "Can I join you guys?" And she's like, "Oh yes, of course." So I just followed everything she did and knocked that off my bucket list. So then after that, Scott and I went to Ngongping. To get there, you take a cable car over, and it was a really cool ride. And over quite a few different nature scenes, and it was just a really cool way to look over Hong Kong and take a bunch of pictures. When we got over to Nongping, there was just this little Chinese village, and we had lunch and signed our names on this wall where a bunch of people had written their names. And there were just dogs all over the island. And so we went over to the Polin Monastery. It's a Buddhist temple monastery, and it was a really very nice place. You got to see both people who were visitors just going to see the sights and a bunch of monks who actually lived there and practicing. And then we went up this giant staircase to the world's largest sitting Buddha called the Tiantan Buddha. And it was something I'd never really seen before, you know. Living in the States, you don't see a whole lot of Buddha statues, so that was something new for me. And from there we took a bus out to Tai, which is a old fishing village on the very edge of Hong Kong on Lantau Island. And it was just really cool to get to see, you know, how going from the giant city, coming to this little tiny village, and there's a big fish market through the center. You can see some pretty interesting things, like these are dried squids, and then these are pearls a guy was selling that he found. And then Scott and I went out on this large pier that went out for a pretty good distance and then turned at a right angle. And we just got the chance to take a bunch of really cool pictures of the mountains on Lantau Island. When we came back to the bus stop, I saw this banner that said Fa Lung Da Fa Ha. And Fa Lung Da Fa is an interesting story going on in China that I encourage anybody to look up. After that, we came back to the hotel, and I went out for a bit, and I got some wonton noodles to go and went out to the river and ate them while the skyline started to light up. And then after that, for dinner, we went out to the Stanley Market, and it was funny because it was only around 7 o'clock, but everything was closed. But then the weather was really nice, and it was pretty quiet, and so it was a really great way to end the day. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for Cheung Chau Island.